I believe that Brian knows that call. Gerda also. I was with them at the tractor, and I saw the miracle. And why I asked him to be here today, I'm going to say in English, hy is 'n Engelsman, hy praat 'n bietjie Afrikaans. Wat sy tens is nie reg in Afrikaans sê, so ek dink dit praat. But I want to say this today that I believe sometimes we need to have witnesses that God still do miracles. Die woord sê, is 'n wolk van getuienisse om ons, en dis nie so 'n groot ding nie. Elke dag beleef ons God se wonderwerkende krag. And Brian just said that he wants to share this with us as a part of his family, because we are part of his family. And he's a grumpy old man, he doesn't smile that much. So don't get cross when you see him coming forward. But Brian, it's great to have you guys here. Paardeplaas is my werkplek, is dit lekker. Ek het Brian en Gerda, ek het meer van Gerda ontmoet met die besigheidskamer, en my kinders het vir die skoolkoerantjie gewerk, en dat het maar gaan van advertensies en goeders. But what started afar became close friends. And I'm real lucky set up for it. Brian, thank you for hom groot aan die klap. Being here today is a miracle. It is a walking miracle. So, die stoel vir altyd lees, so sit sal weg is. Thank you.
Thank you, Andre. Thank you for allowing me to address your congregation. My story is to at least 3 miracles in 1 year, so it's not easy to express my gratitude and my love for God, but thank you. Thank you all for being here today. My name is Brian. My wife is Gerda. And I want to thank every one of you that were part of either 1 or 2 or 3 of the miracles that I experienced. I want to thank you all for being there. I met Peter again this morning, the first time since the 14th of May. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Andre. And there are so many people that have got familiar faces. I want to thank people who inquired as to my health and what had happened to me. It never ended. Okay, so I was born in the last outpost of the British Empire in Ladysmith in Natal in 1941. Yes, I'm 84 years old, and I've been living in Leidenburg for the last 25 to 30 years. And we live on Paardeplaas. I think most of you know where that is. We will be having an Easter service there on Easter Sunday, as we have been doing for the past 25 years. And I hope that I see many of your faces there. You just have to climb quite a steep hill, and those that are old, like myself, and that can't walk up, we will make arrangements for you to be driven up. Anyhow, my first miracle happened on the 14th of May. It was a totally innocent day for me. I always love to be busy. I'll go out of my way to be busy. And I got onto my tractor with the slasher attached to it, and I was going to cut fire breaks for the winter that lay ahead. Due to an error of judgment and a lack of concentration, the tractor rolled over, the 5-ton tractor rolled over on top of me. tons. The tractor itself is about 2.5 to 3 tons, but all 4 of the wheels are full of water, and they have weights on them. So in total it's 5 tons. There I lay under the tractor with my right arm, this one, pinned under the tractor. My left arm and both my legs were free. Thank heavens for that. And Kada called Andre and Fred and Yaki Malet, and within minutes there were hordes of people there, and Yaki Malet busy with his team of people trying to free me from under the tractor. And they used trolley jacks, and it took 2.5 hours with me lying under the tractor before they could lift it, and Peter was one of those that dragged me out, ready to be loaded into an ambulance which was already there. I want to thank every one of those, like Andre, who was ever present, and Fred, and the Duplessis, Cornell, and what's his name? Cornell and her husband. Okay. But they got me out from under the tractor, and they consoled me all the time, as did Fred, as did Andre, and they consoled me with Lucas, the man who works for me. So in this time, never did I have any fear that anything would be wrong. I could move my toes, I could move my fingers, and I knew that God was with me. I knew that I would be okay. And that's how I survived that miracle. It was, believe me, you are never alone. Even in your darkest hour, you are never alone. God is always with you, and if He's not with you, He sends people to be with you, and that's what I had. However, that came and passed, and a few months later, about 3 months later, I had a most horrific fall in my own bedroom. We have carpets and mats over the whole floor, and I hooked my foot on a carpet and tripped and fell and hit my head. I was poleaxed, and I hit my head on the floor. It was such a hard blow that within hours I had what they referred to medically as raccoon eyes. Both my eyes were black. And it was an excruciating fall. And Dr. Friend said, when I told him that I'd fallen on my forehead, he said, well, that's the hardest bone in your body, so you won't break that. So I was lucky there. Anyhow, in the process of falling, I extended my arm to save myself, and I tore the ligaments in my left shoulder. So to this day, I'm supposed to have a sling on, but I've got my hand in a pocket. And I had to go to Pretoria for surgery to fix my shoulder up, which took a few days. Then I came back with my arm in a sling, and I needed to do many exercises to rehabilitate my shoulder. with all the good intentions in the world, I woke up one morning and went through my daily routine of breakfast at 10 o'clock, and then I went, Gerda and I decided to do my daily constitutional, and we decided to go for a short walk to the vegetable patch and back. All this exercise is supposed to help a hell of a lot. Anyhow, off I went with Gerda with me, and we got to the vegetable garden, and all of a sudden a whole swarm of bees started attacking us. Lucas fled, Gerda fled, and Lucas had been brush cutting around the vegetable garden with a two-stroke brush cutter, and that smoke is what upset the bees. Anyhow, the bees are there for very good reason. You can't garden vegetables without the bees pollinating all the little flowers. And the bees attacked us. Gerda fled, Lucas fled, and the best thing I could do is I identified a bush, and I dived into the bush to try and cover myself with the bush. That was a bad idea. After about 15 minutes, Lucas reappeared, and with a small canvas, and I thought, wow, that's a good idea. And he covered me with the canvas, but the bees got under the canvas and just carried on. They carried on their task, they plundered me, and after a long time, it was 50 minutes, and we have the times, because Gerda has got cell phone calls where the times are recorded, so we know that it was 50 minutes. And after 50 minutes, I decided, well, you can't just lie here. So I raised myself up onto my arm, and my left arm in a sling, and my right arm and my two knees, and I started crawling to safety. And I must have crawled about 15 meters, or maybe close to 20, with the bees still plundering me. And then I heard Gerda's welcome voice telling Lucas to spray me with a hosepipe. Well, that was the first relief. That was the light at the end of a tunnel for me. That was the first time in nearly an hour that I had no more of this agony of being stung all the time. So I was, when I came to, the Duplessis were both there in their bee suits, and they had a spray, and they sprayed the bees, which put them into a reverse gear. And by then the ambulance had arrived, and funnily enough it was exactly the same ambulance and paramedic that had come when the tractor had fallen on me. So in all of this chaos, I had a couple of friends, not a couple, many friends, and Andre was one of them. And we were taken off first to our local hospital, and then we were taken off to Kiart Hospital in Nelspruit. We only arrived there at about 6 p.m. that evening, and the bees stung me at about 10. So it was a long, long day, to put it mildly. And we were kept in hospital for 8 days. I was in intensive care for 3 days, and then I was released from intensive care, and I was put into the same room as Gerda, our honeymoon suite. And it was such a wonderful experience. She even has photographs of us eating our food, which was wonderful, but not always so wonderful, in our honeymoon suite. I came back from the hospital just before Christmas. We had a wonderful Christmas where Andre from Crust and his family prepared a Christmas dinner for us on the farm on Christmas Day. All we had to do was be there. And thank you, God, for all of the people that have been so kind and good to us. And that includes everybody like Andre, like Fred, Lucas, my wife, Gerda. Thank you very much. And thanks for saving me in all three of these incidents that I experienced. Without God, one can never tell. I don't know. He must have a purpose for me. And that's one of the reasons that I'm sitting here right now. So thank you. Thank you all. Thank you very much for being here this morning.
Thank you, Brian. While he stands here, I just want to share to you this big body that you see here. When the tractor fell on its roof, this body was zigzagged in all the open spaces where there was open space, except his shoulder. So if the tractor fell on his body, he would not have been here today. That's why it's the biggest miracle. The big stumps that he has endured is supposed to kill him. The amount of bee stings that he had was supposed to kill him, supposed to kill a young man, because it's poison. And what happened is, he's still alive.
I guess that I had 20,000 bee stings. My young 31-year-old son says, "No, Dad, you're exaggerating." But if I pulled my pants down and showed you, you could count that there are at least 20,000. Carter had a couple of hundred, and hence that was the reason that they put us in hospital for 8 days.
That's a great miracle. Thank you, Mr. Ryan. Jy weet wanneer mense kinders waterpoppies kry, daai klein kolletjies. That was erger geweest daarso. Even when I saw them afterwards, and you see how the body was covered, and even when I went to the hospital, they still removed these things. Nog steeds by almal verwyder. Nog steeds, we doen nog klaar alles uit.
Die angels is uit by die kolletjies.
Kolletjies nog alles daar.
Is julle apart?
Okay, yes. Maar dit is waaroor ons God dien, wat, en soos hy sê, God still like purpose. Want hy moes eintlik nie meer hier gewees het. En daarvoor is dan baie dankie Brian dat jy ons kom bedien het vanoggend. Gaan vra aan die